are in Colorado Springs.
All along the Front Range. This is Jeff and Bill, where you hear both sides of an issue. And while Billy and I'd like to debate everything, including tariffs, we might as well just be right in the U.S. Supreme Court. There are times we agree. And that's when we get to promote and celebrate the folks that not only help this show, sponsor it, keep it on the air, but are providing great services for the community. That's Ashbaugh Center for Therapy. Its owner and operator, Bob Kanika, is going to be joining us here in just a second. Talk about how he can improve your life with some unique therapy. That's not the same. You're not part of a big operation where you're just kind of like, this has happened to me when I was running and had IT band issues. And I was just in a giant room with like 30 other, mostly high school athletes.
Oh, ouch.
Which was just kind of weird to be sitting there getting worked on with like a ton of other people around.
Yeah, I've had that too.
I
where
wasn't a fan.
This is the weird part. Is of course, Jeff's showing off. When he was young and everything. Mine, the physical therapy stuff has happened later on in life, and that's where I'm sitting around and I'm doing the exercise again in kind of this pseudo gym that has been set up in some empty space in some office area, and it's with a lot of other older people. So, at the time, I'm doing the best sets possible because I'm the youngest. It's not a good thing, but it is. A bunch of the older people sitting around, and it's this weird thing where you're in the gym, but you're not in the gym. And the thing that's hard for me in that sort of an open physical therapy setting is the awkwardness where you're not hanging out and just doing it, to get better, etc. Like at the gym, it's not a social experience.
Yes.
You're there because something hurts and you're trying to get better.
Right.
So you're not necessarily as chatty. You don't want to talk to the person next to you as much. And it just feels weird. And okay, this is very weird, but okay, I'm also the kind of person that I go to those physical therapy things. I'm in the big like open space, and we're all doing the exercise, and I'm like, I wonder what you did. You're doing that exercise there. What'd you do? What'd you fall off of? I mean, I want to know. That's the thing is, it's hard for me. I don't like it. I feel awkward doing it.
Don't you feel weird too, being a part of everybody else's conversation?
Yes.
Like I was sitting there listening to this guy, and he wasn't the nicest. Just dropping all these F-bombs and this stuff. And he's talking with this like high school kid about athleticism. I'm just like, I need workout. What is this? This is weird. So we're going to
the other part is that I don't need to hear in an open space that because of these things that I'm doing for my lower range of motion, if you've eaten certain foods, you're going to be a little bit gassy, and that's going to come. No, don't share those kinds of things. I don't need everybody in the room knowing that.
So Bob Kanika, Ashbaugh Center for Therapy, is going to be talking about how he and his company does this differently. If you're dealing with chronic pain in your back, your joints, or you got surgeries coming up, that's happening in my family, Ashbaugh Center for Therapy can provide expert, personalized service for you. We'll get into all of that and more. Now is time for the news.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Good Monday morning, 39 and partly cloudy in Denver, 42 in the Springs, expecting highs in the mid-60s today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning. For a new home heating and cooling system, contact your Lennox dealer, Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at pastorcamp.com. Conditions apply. See dealer for details. Our top story.
Now Jack Hughes pokes it around McCarr. United States with numbers. Back across it comes. Jack Hughes wins it. The golden goal for the United States.
The U.S. men's hockey team will be landing at Miami International Airport this afternoon to avoid the blizzard in the Northeast. The gold medalists have agreed to join DJT in D.C. tomorrow night for the State of the Union.
Now I gotta.
What's that?
Well, I gotta ask Bob about this because we have Bob from Ashbaugh Center for Therapy. Are you a hockey fan, Bob?
Yeah, I sure am. We were up in the morning, not as early as 6:10, but we were there, the whole family watching, and still on high from that.
Yeah. How old are your kids?
9 and 11.
Oh man, do they play hockey?
They don't. In fact, we were a little confused on the rules of 3-on-3, which I think is super exciting. I wish that's how hockey was played. There's going to be a lot more goals.
So are your kids ready to play hockey now after watching it?
Yeah,
Did you get any, hey, Dad, sign me up?
Chanting USA a lot.
That is awesome. That was
fantastic.
That was an incredible win, and you had the women's team win as well. Man, there's a bunch of American pride. My entire social media is filled with American pride.
And I want to throw down to the group right now. What are we thinking about Johnny Gaudreau and the wonderful tribute they paid to him and the family afterwards, after the gold medal winning
Well, you got to tell
match.
who that guy is.
Okay,
'cause
Johnny
I didn't
Gaudreau,
know.
he's a longtime hockey player. Basically, he and his brother were killed by an alleged drunk driver while they were biking in New Jersey. This happened in August of 2024. And Johnny's one of those guys that at the time, I mean, he's a lifelong hockey guy. Dad ran the rink, was the coach. And coming out of New Jersey, you'd go to their rink if you were going to be something inside of the world of hockey. And at the time, Gaudreau is trying to break into the American national team, and he's getting ready to try out. And the family says that he was in among the best shape of his life, and then his life is cut short. So he never gets the chance to try out. Then the Americans, who all know him, the hockey club inside of America, when you're at that level, is very, very, very small. So they take his jersey and hang it in the locker room throughout the entire tournament. He always has a place there with the family. So now they win. Cool. The players go up into the stands. They grab his kids. One of them is 2.
Awesome.
And they bring him out on the ice because they said that's what Jack would have wanted if they won. That was always his goal, was to share this experience with the kids. This experience that very few people get a chance ever to have in their lives. So Dad's not there, but it's kind of bittersweet that they bring out his sweater, they bring out the kids, and they celebrate with him. It's kind of cool. It's it's one of those times where
killed.
Oh, it's awful.
Riding their bikes. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
yeah,
it's horrible. But to see that afterwards, and for them to make the effort, and it was amazing. It was really cool.
Yeah, one of the many stories coming out of this and the gold medal. 47 called the team in the locker room, and here's part of that conversation.
Military plane or something, but if you would like to, it's the coolest night, it's the biggest. We're in. Yeah, we're
Can you pick us up in Miami on Tuesday morning?
All right, so they're going to be at the address tomorrow.
Do they know they're going to the State of the Union?
I know, that's where I'm like... even as policy wonkish as I am, sitting through and then dissecting the speech and what was said and all that, it's a little dry compared to, I don't know, celebrating a gold medal win and everybody cheering you everywhere you go.
Yeah. What they need to do
for the third straight day.
Oh, yeah. What they should do is, instead of making them sit in the audience, they should put them in a side room, and they should give them a whole bunch of beer and some of those bubble hockey tables. And let's just cut back and forth and watch them play that hockey and cheer. It'd be so much better than watching
They're
the
going to sit up there in the gallery, and then they're going to do the recognition and stand. Yeah. And then you got to sit through. And Bill, you and I have sat through some DJT speeches.
It's long.
Bro likes to talk. That is 2+ hours.
Yeah, and when he has
policy conversations,
special guests in the audience. Oh, this
I
is
know.
Be,
You know what? We have to pump the brakes a little bit. We've been kind of acting like these guys are high school kids and college kids. I mean, these are NHL players. These are professional athletes who are willing to sit through this. I think I'm guessing they're multi-million-dollar athletes, and the probably the lowest paid guy on this team probably makes $3 or $4 million.
Probably true, yeah.
So at least with the Stanley Cup, guys. At least with the Stanley Cup, you can fill it with champagne, and everyone's. Imagine that. Imagine that at the State of the Union, if you brought down a big thing and everybody's drinking out of it and everybody's having fun.
I think that'd be great.
That would be a State of the Union worth watching.
That would.
Yeah,
that would.
You know, now it's a good thing, though, because Cale McCarr and Nathan McKinnon, they're on the Canada team, right? So now they lost. They're going to be more hungry for the Avs. So it's a good thing for us Colorado.
We hope so. Oh, yes.
True. You hope. Yeah, you hope they are.
Bob with the analysis. I love it.
Yeah. I think that I think it's good. Those are good thoughts going in the rest of the season, second half of the season. All right, so the president also added that the women's team, which also won gold, would be invited, also joking that he would be impeached if they didn't. I mean, really, do you need to add all that? No. Americans in parts of Mexico have been urged to shelter in place as unrest follows the weekend of killing a notorious cartel leader. Mexican security forces killed the drug kingpin known as El Mencho in an operation that the U.S. provided intelligence support for. Johnstown police have arrested 27-year-old Genesis Lucius on charges of attempted second-degree murder, menacing, and DUI after shots were fired at another vehicle during a road rage incident on I-25 over the weekend. No one was injured. Colorado Springs Utilities says that the city is prepared after 7 basin states failed to reach a new agreement on Colorado River operations by the February 14th deadline. General Manager of Infrastructure and Resource Planning, Abby Ortega.
We have our sustainable water plan where we took into account Colorado River risks, and it's why we have a diverse portfolio with our water storage and being able to manage. We have our water shortage ordinance if our demands get too high.
About 50% of the city's water supply comes from the river, and officials say storage, reuse, and agricultural partnerships help offset about 20% reduction in supplies. Nick Reiner is expected for arraignment in an L.A. courtroom today for allegedly murdering his parents in their home in December. Reiner was arrested a day after the bodies of Hollywood director Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle were discovered in their Brentwood home. Reiner is expected to enter a plea in the case. There is a lot more to this story than what we know. Stocks are down sharply as tariff uncertainty rattles Wall Street. The Dow fell more than 500 points in early trading after 47 announced he's raising his worldwide tariffs to 15%. The S&P and NASDAQ were also in the red. All right, the Nuggets lose to the Warriors 128-117, and we've got action on Wednesday as the Celtics come to town. 42 in the Springs, 39 in Denver. That's the latest. I'm Blake Olson. More of the Jeff and Bill Show ahead on News Talk 710 KNUS in Denver, and now on AM 1460 and FM 101.1 The Answer in Colorado Springs. This is where you hear both sides. We are the Jeff and Bill Show.
The week will be off to a very mild start. Denver and Colorado Springs will be well up into the 60s today, tomorrow, and likely Wednesday before we cool off a little, but not a lot. As we hit the end of the week, Pacific air is coming in as a very strong jet stream wind will slice across Colorado tomorrow night into Wednesday and Thursday. This will lead to a strong Chinooking effect, downslope winds, along the I-25 corridor, making it a bit windy, but also making it very mild. This pattern will again bring a good shot of snow to Colorado's northern and central mountains, even though it'll be mild and windy and likely, for the most part, dry on the plains, although there will be a small chance Wednesday night for a few rain and snow showers. Otherwise dry, clearing skies behind the frontal system as we get into Thursday and Friday. Highs well into the 60s through Wednesday. Nights will be mostly 30s to near 40. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
710 KNUS in Denver.
And now waking up with AM 1460, FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs.
All along the Front Range. This is the Jeff and Bill show where you get both sides. Now, Billy and I typically jumping in, battling over everything from Taylor Swift to pineapple on pizza to Trump's tariffs and who has the power to levy those. But we do come together, and when we get to find a great sponsor that's not only helping this program be on the air, but providing great services, Billy and I come together and support them, and that's the Ashbaugh Center for Therapy in Denver. And joining us live in studio, Bob Kanika. He's the owner-operator of it. Now, Billy and I are both athletes at one time. I ran cross-country in college. He played soccer in college. So both on our feet, both competitive.
Yeah.
Both remember what it was like to be fast and strong at one point.
Bureau, I remember all that tight skin and fast metabolism. Oh, those days.
And so I got back into distance running later in life. So had my high school and college running career. Then, like a lot of people, took time off. Then decided to get back in as the kids were getting older. And lo and behold, the joints didn't work so well, and so found myself getting some physical therapy at one point. Didn't quite enjoy it. And so when we got to hear about Ashbaugh Center for Therapy and how they do things differently, Billy and I were both like, oh, yeah. This is someone we want to be a part of because we've experienced bad physical therapy.
Oh, yeah. We've experienced bad physical therapy. I have a number of run-ins with bad physical therapy and things that didn't quite just take right or do exactly what it needed to. As my father told me as a younger kid, I grew up with an underdeveloped sense of fear, and there were a number of things that I did through my youth that were really, really dumb, and I pay the cost now. At the time, I'm like, that's a problem for older Bill. Well, older Bill is here now, and it sucks. And so things hurt where they shouldn't, and it stinks, and things are tingly, and things go numb, and it's ridiculous. And I have been in those bad shops, and I have been in that place where it feels like you're just sitting at the fast, 10 items or less checkout line at the grocery store, where they just want to get you through that 5 set of exercises as quickly as possible and then move on to the next person. They're not actually looking at you when you're doing the exercises. They give you an assignment, you walk away, and then maybe at the end we go, how does this hurt, this hurt, this hurt? All right, see you next week. Next, on to the next one.
Yeah, and then you come in the next time, and it's like they've never even met you.
Yes, they don't remember.
That was the problem.
They don't even remember what we did last time.
You don't even know who I am. I'm just another guy on the sheet. Well, Bob Kanika, Ashbaugh Center for Therapy, doing it different with Ashbaugh Center for Therapy, which is in the Denver Tech Center area, right off of Colorado Boulevard, 925. But Bob, tell us about yourself, your background.
Well, thanks for having me. We're providing an alternative to the high-volume assembly line type physical therapy that seems to be common nowadays. We focus on the individual. We personalize our care. You're unique, so your rehabilitation plan should be unique. We fight the insurance companies to get the dollars that you deserve for reimbursement for your care. And we specialize in manual therapy. If they're not putting the hands on you, then you're missing out, because manual therapy is beneficial for the body, and you get better quicker if you have that involved.
Let's talk about all the different types of conditions you treat: arm and elbow issues, back, foot and ankle, hand and wrist, hip issues, leg and knee issues, neck issues, shoulder issues. It seems like pretty much everything but brain surgery.
Yeah, we specialize in orthopedic musculoskeletal injuries, acute injuries, post-surgery care. We also deal with those pesky chronic pain that you've had for a long time that keeps coming back. We see a lot of people that go to those high-volume physical therapy clinics that are fed up with that, and we end up treating them because we're with you privately, and we try to find out what the underlying causes for your injuries, not just worried about short-term recovery. We want to find out and work on long-term wellness.
That's Bob Kanika, Ashbaugh Center for Therapy, live in studio with us. By the way, his website, ashbaughpt.com, ashbaughpt.com. One of the things you mentioned when we got to know about your company was Medicare patients and how you can work with Medicare for folks, especially as you get older in life. That chronic pain, as you mentioned, continues to come back. They may not be aware that Medicare can cover some of this, right?
Sure. Yeah. Insurance companies are confusing for a reason. The more confusion you have, they rely on human error for data entry and timely filing of the claims. Medicare seems to be pretty consistent in that. And we know how to play the games with the insurance companies so that we can get reimbursed because we pay attention to authorization and we audit our accounts frequently. That's different than what high volume physical therapy clinics do. They just kind of get you in, get you out, and you're going to get the next person in. Well, you have insurance for a reason, and we'll fight to get your every dollar that you need.
That's great. And talk about your clientele. Do they typically, what's the age range? What are the issues that they're typically coming to you with?
Yeah, so we handle physical therapy clients from all ages, from the ultra marathoners to the ones that ride the couch. So the weekend warriors. You're unique, so that's why we spend the whole 45 minutes with you with one licensed physical therapist from the day one till the end of your rehab. So, we do.
So
all
somebody
ages.
comes in, because this was my experience. I come in, I maybe meet with the physical therapist for 5 minutes, maybe. It was more like 3 minutes.
Sure.
And then I was put in a corner to do stretches.
Right.
And so you said 45 minutes you spend with each person?
Oh, sure. Yeah. You need to be with them the whole time because there's, you might have muscle imbalances, asymmetry in your posture, things that go unnoticed in other clinics.
Wow.
I mean,
45 minutes. That's yeah.
I knew you guys were providing care, but
hang on.
That's impressive.
That's way beyond 90% of the physical therapy that I've gone through.
Here's what it sounds like to me is like you guys, you're willing to sacrifice the high flow money to really care for the person. Like you're more motivated by care than dollar bills.
Yeah, I think there's two models. You can pay the bills by having a high volume and not pay attention to the nuances of your care, or you can, like us, spend time with the individual and then fight for every dollar with the insurance companies, and that's what we do.
Wow, that's impressive. That's Bob Kanika, Ashpaw Center for Therapy, ashpawpt.com, ashpawpt.com. Now, where's the name come from?
Paula Ashbaugh was the previous owner in 2000. We bought the clinic from her in 2007. So we've been in business since then. Maybe, 19 years?
19 years.
Yeah.
That's great. And you cover all ages, but you also work with Medicare. So people of that certain age, which tend to have the problems.
Yeah.
How much does Medicare typically cost a physical therapy or cover? I mean,
so a typical physical therapy session is anywhere from some insurances are $60, and then some are around $100, $110. So Medicare does a pretty good job of reimbursing us about the $100 mark, and they give 20 visits a year. So. But they listen to the provider, I think, more than other insurance companies. And if there are comorbidities such as diabetes or things like that, we can get more visits, just depending on how we bill.
That's almost every other week. 20, right? 20 visits a year?
Yeah.
So every other week, they cover, you said $100 of the visit, which is how much is then put upon a person typically to pay?
Well, with Medicare, if they have a supplemental plan, they don't pay anything. If they have an Advantage plan, they might have a little bit of a copay, but Medicare pretty much you don't pay anything. It's the private insurance is where you have a copay, a deductible, and things like that.
But so if you're 65 plus Medicare, you can get physical therapy, hands-on, 45 minutes at a time, every other week, and you don't have to pay anything for it?
Wow. That's correct. Yeah, it's kind of an unknown secret out there.
Yeah, you think about all of our parents. You think about all of our family members that are dealing with that constant problem, right? Of knee, back, elbow, shoulder. And they're complaining, and I understand the complaining, but guys, here's every other week somebody hands-on providing that care for you, and you're barely paying anything, if anything, at all. Why not get that taken care of? Like, this is amazing. This is the deal, Bill.
Yeah, this is crazy. Now, Bob Kaneke with Ash Boss Center for Therapy here in studio with us right now, talking about how they're doing things differently. Now, you just heard from Jeff, 45-minute sessions. You can roll in every other week, and your insurance is going to cover it. Now, this is what I want to ask you, Bob, is why? And the reason that I'm asking you the why is, why are you creating these individual private rooms? Why are you spending the 45 minutes with the person? We heard you cover this a little bit earlier, but don't you know? Haven't you learned from those other big shops that if you run someone through there every 20 to 30 minutes, you can make more money? That this is about the bottom line of number of customers through the door? Why in the world are you not trying to maximize your bottom line profit by pushing as many people through that office as possible? You know, you could have an assistant that would stand there and tell someone to go in the corner and do little stretchy things and then have a little squeezy ball and do that for 15 minutes, and then you just have to come over and touch them a little bit for 5-10 minutes, then tell them what to do when they go home. That'd be much easier. Why in the world are you making this so long and so difficult when you could just be writing checks and maybe buying that sweet yacht we've all been dreaming from by doing it the different way like the big shops are? Why are you doing it differently, man?
Well, for one reason, burnout. I think every physical therapist that I went to school with that did go to those high-volume physical therapy clinics are not working anymore as a physical therapist.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think you can see 25 patients a day and not get burnt out within 5 to 10 years. So I like working one-on-one with the patient. I like to get to know the patient and find out what's wrong with them, and then do my best to get them better. And also, we're not spending money on really advertisement, because since 2007, well, about 3 years since 2010, we haven't had to market because the clients are advertisement. They tell their family, their friends, and their neighbors about us, and so we haven't had to do much of marketing. We get our clients that way.
Okay, wait. The listeners, Jeff and Bill show. You just heard what Bob was telling you, right? This is Ashbaugh Center for Therapy. They don't go out there and do all of the major advertising, yet they still have new customers and clients walking through that door every day.
Word of mouth,
yeah,
reputation.
This is a secret. This is a secret that not a lot of people out there know about because they're not seeing the advertisements. They're not seeing this in all those magazines. They're not seeing it in all of those mailers you get. They're not seeing it on the social medias. So there aren't a ton of people that know about the fact that you can get a personalized, private, 45-minute session. Insurance, in many cases, will cover it every other week. You get the time and the attention, and nobody else knows about it. We're sharing a secret with you today on the Jeff and Bill Show. This is that therapy center you've been searching for, but you haven't been able to find because they're not advertising until they started hanging out with us, which is kind of cool.
AshbaughPT.com. AshbaughPT.com. Here's some of the conditions they treat: back disorders and pain. Oh, you're going to have to help me with this one. Cervical
radiculopathy, maybe?
Boom. Degenerative disc disease. Gait difficulty. Gait's like running.
I have degenerative disc disease. The bottom 3 discs in my back are deteriorating. Yeah, awfully. They're horrible. Yeah.
Knee, foot, ankle pain, jaw pain, TMJ, lumbar, and then say it again,
radiculopathy.
Muscle weakness and atrophy, pediatric disorders, plantar fasciitis, right?
Oh, that's a hurt one. That plantar fasciitis, that hurts. That's a killer. It's a tiny little foot thing that hurts because of how the muscles and things separate inside of your foot. It can hurt so bad.
Postural dysfunction, sciatica.
Oh, so that's a tinglies. That's a tinglies that you get down, and I know all about those because of where the problem I have. I have problems in both my neck and my lower back, and if I sit incorrectly, my sciatica, what happens is the vertebrae in your back begin to shift a little bit, and then it pinches the part of the spinal cord and some of the nerves that are coming on the outside, and I end up getting numbness down most of the time my right leg, and then it's a weakness followed by numbness and then tingling, and then if I do it wrong, it'll be on my left side. But I can tell you when I'm sitting wrong because I get that sciatica, and I've had some friends in which it has been so debilitating that they would have to spend 24 hours or more in bed because they literally couldn't put pressure on that leg in order to walk. They were older in their life, but it was horrible. It can be real serious, yeah.
Shoulder impingement, shoulder, elbow, and wrist pain, spine disorders and pain.
I'm just ticking all these boxes here.
Tennis elbow, thoracic outlet syndrome, whiplash. Wow. So those are the conditions. Here are their services: physical therapy, massage, dry needling, Pilates, athletic training, and more, all at ashbapt.com. ashbapt.com. We're talking with Bob Kanika live in studio. Feel free to text in or call if you have any questions. The phone number 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Campos Law text line at 720-819-5115. Coming up, I want to ask him about being a physical therapist in Colorado with such an active population. That's what we're known for. We climb 14ers, we go rafting, we play sports, pickleball, tennis, all that stuff. How he can be a service to those that love to be active, maybe just need a little bit of help and want to get back out there as soon as they possibly can. ashbapt.com will continue the conversation. You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show in Denver on News Talk 710 KNUS.
And now waking up with AM 1460 and FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs. This is where you get to hear both sides. And we're telling you about a really good secret personal therapy place here in town. The physical therapy, they're not doing advertising except for us. This is a secret. So, shh. We'll be right back. We'll talk more about it in a sec. This is the Jeff and Bill Show.
710 KNUS here in Denver.
And waking up with AM 1460, FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs.
All along the Front Range. This is the Jeff and Bill Show. So Billy and I, both athletes at one point, still very active in our lives. Kids and I are getting ready to sign up for the Boulder, for instance. We're going to go up there. It's just a giant, 6-mile party to run. But I ended up, as I got back into ultra running and did Leadville and all this stuff, didn't complete it. Got 70 miles twice, same spot, and then my lower back gave out. But I love ultra distance running. Ran a Trans Rockies 120-mile race, Leadville 50, Chase the Moon, which is one in Highlands Ranch where you run through the night. I love being out and active. But being in my 40s, my knees really started to hurt. And I went and got some physical therapy, and I didn't have a great experience. I didn't really like it, in part because I was part of like 30 other people, mostly high school kids that were in there. And just I met with the physical therapist for 5 minutes and then put in a corner and did stretches. And Billy and I came upon Ashbaugh Center for Therapy and got a chance to meet their owner, Bob Kanika, and got to hear their vision, which was not, can we process as many people through as we possibly can, but can we provide hands-on care 45 minutes at a time, one-on-one, where you're really getting that type of care. And then they do all the work with the insurance. If you're on Medicare, you can get nearly fully covered, if not fully covered, 20 sessions a year. That's every other week, hands-on, 45 minutes. Guys, at this point, why wouldn't you if you're dealing with chronic pain?
Yeah, why wouldn't you? There are so many things in your life that you are not doing right now because of that pain. Now, whether it is going out and doing those extra walks, maybe it's not doing some with the kids or the grandkids, maybe it is just worried about carrying that heavy basket of laundry up and down the stairs because there's a giddy up in one of your knees because of what's going on. I know that because I speak from personal experience about going through that. My left knee's it's poop. There are some problems there. And so I get this idea of having
So if you're in a street fight, by the way.
Yeah, left knee.
Sweep the leg.
Yeah. I'm just saying that if we're in a street fight, there are no rules, and I will not play fair. So just be careful. Be careful what you're wishing for there. I will not play fair. So the idea that we happened upon when we walked into Ashbaugh Center for Therapy the first time, the thing that got me after going through a number of different physical therapies, and remember, I had to go through physical therapy throughout a little bit in high school, but again, through college soccer and beyond. So I've gone through those training sessions. I've done the training work before games, after games. We've done the cool down sessions afterwards. So I'm familiar with what the process is. This is what got me personally the first time I walked through the door at the Ashbaugh Center for Therapy, and we're meeting Bob. I walk in and I look around. I'm like, wait, there's the office there. There's the office. There's the reception. Where's the gym? Where's the big open area we're all supposed to be standing in, doing all the little worky things? And Bob's like, no. We do that in the office after I close the door. I'm like, hey, what? And he says to us that, no, this is about personal, private time, that if you're coming here and if you're spending your time, your money, and making the effort to be here in the office, the very least that they can do is to spend that time with you, to talk with you about what's hurting, how are the exercises going, and this is the most important part. When you're doing those reps, they make sure they are done properly each and every time. When my mom went through some physical therapy recently, the best sessions were the ones where the PT person was there the entire time watching every single range of motion exercise, because that way you're doing it right. It doesn't help if you've got bad form. Anyone that has gone through long-term exercise or athletics, it is bad. They talk about it in the NFL. If you're a quarterback and you've got bad footwork and you're dropping back, it's not going to help you make the right pass, even if you've got that cannon of an arm.
Gotta get it right.
You've got it the form right. And Bob will get the form right personally. 45-minute private session at Ashbaugh Center for Therapy.
Here's their phone number, by the way, because we are getting calls asking for it. Yes. And how to spell it. Ashbaugh, A-S-H-B, as in boy, A-U-G-H, Ashbaugh Center for Therapy, 303-756-3388. Now, Bob, you are in Colorado, one of the most active states. Talk to us about the active clientele that wants to come in, get fixed up as quickly as they can so you can get back out there.
Yeah, what kind of problems do you see?
Sure. Yeah. Well, we definitely see a slew of active patients because we live in Colorado. Everyone wants to be outside and be recreational. So we, I've seen maybe 5 ultramarathon runners, Jeff, and they've all finished. So if you would have came to us,
that's the secret. It's Bob.
No. Well, that's the thing is nowadays you can look up stretches and exercises online, but what we want to do is see the patient and find out what the intricacies are that could be a problem in your gait of running. A lot of times it might be the IT band that you had, and your physical therapist might have said, well, you have to foam roll it and you have to, stretch it out. But what's the underlying cause? 80% of the time it might be a glute strength timing issue. So you might have, and it's not just one side, not one glute, it's the side, there's one side that's weaker than the other. So you might not get that if you're not with that person the whole time, with that physical therapist the whole time.
That's Bob Kanika with Ashbaugh Center for Therapy, ashbaughpt.com, phone number 303-756-3388. How about kids with, or families with kids that got sports injuries?
Sure.
Talk about that.
Part of my bio, which I need to get on the internet, is I was an athletic trainer, master's of athletic training before I became a physical therapist. So those injuries that I've seen, the ones that run out on the field when they're injured, I've dealt with a lot of those through my career, and it's everyone's different, and to try to create an environment for that body to heal as quickly as possible is what you should have to get back on the field or get back on the sport.
And I imagine the goal, help them get as quickly as they can, but not just to. I'm thinking back to that movie. What was that movie with James Van Der Beek where he plays football down in Texas? You guys know. I can't name of it. All right, but it's a famous movie.
Varsity Blues.
Varsity Blues.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for the yell down the hall, John. Appreciate you.
Where they just bring the guy in and they stick a needle in give him a shot and then put him back out on the field, and he ends up tearing it and having a real bad problem. Talk to us about your commitment to youth so that they can get healed up and then be able to have a career in sports, not just get back on the field as quickly as possible.
Sure. Yeah. Well, with youth, a lot of the problem is the growth spurts. So their bones are growing faster than their muscles. So if they are not prepared for the sport of that season, then they're at risk of getting injuries. So our job would be to prepare them and have the right muscle efficiency so that they can carry out the activities and duties of their sport.
Mm-hmm. And then hopefully see them for a bit, and then they get to go on and you don't have to see them again, right?
Right.
Like does it make you happy to know that your athletes aren't coming back? In part because they've gotten the therapy to be able to be successful. Right? Talk just a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I think we see them periodically. I'll see them, for instance, I have a college student now that I've seen him since he's been 8. So he was a baseball player, and you're going to see an injury. You're going to treat him for an injury, and then inevitably they're going to come back later because they're going to have another injury because of their sport. So those people I've seen throughout their lives just because they were satisfied with our care in the beginning.
Wow. So continue to come back as they need you. That's Bob Kanika, Ashbaugh Center for Therapy. Go to ashbaughpt.com, ashbaughpt.com. How quickly can people set up? Is it a long process to get into your office?
We're known to get people in that week or the next week for sure. Okay. We usually have spots available. It's me, another therapist. We have a massage therapist and Pilates instructor, but we'll make time and fit you in to get you in within that week.
Oh, that's fantastic. Website, ashbaughpt.com. Phone number, 303-756-3388. We'll continue our conversation. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show, News Talk 710, KNUS in Denver.
And waking up with AM 1460, FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs. We'll be right back. This is The Jeff and Bill Show.
710 KNUS in Denver.
And on AM 1460, FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs.
All along the Front Range. This is the Jeff and Bill Show. Live in studio with us is Bob Kanika. And by the way, the staff is all lined up. It's hilarious.
I know, it's so funny.
They're all lined up going, so I got this. Do you take this insurance? Bob's like, we'll figure it out. Don't worry. You come on by. We'll figure it out.
There's a line that forms the studio door for every commercial break. It's great.
AshbaPT.com, AshbaPT.com. That's AshBaughpt.com. The phone number 303-756-3388, 303-756-3388. And the question for everybody is, well, there's this insurance. How about this insurance? Everybody wants to know the insurance process. And Bob, how do you handle it with your PT company?
Well, the key is to not make errors. I mean, you have to look closely at even the policy number. You know, you see ones and zeros, or are they I's and O's? So if you enter that data incorrectly, it's going to take time for them to deny that. And now you get that notice back and you got to change it up. Well, now it's timely filing problem. So you got to have attention to detail, and then you got to know the plan, if they have a deductible, a copay, and what that is. We take the time and make the phone calls to make it easy for that patient to do, so they don't have to do it on their own.
Wow. Because people have had rough experiences with other PT companies,
oh, sure.
Right?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I think if, a lot of times you'll go into, if you're going to the typical PT clinic where you're in there for 6 visits and you need more, a lot of times they'll say, we can't see anymore because the insurance company denies you. Well, that just means they're not taking the time to find out the reasons why it's denied and how we can get more visits for you. You should be able to get more visits. You pay a premium for your service, so for your care.
Right. So you guys will work through all that. You take that burden off of people, right?
Sure.
I imagine somebody coming in later in life, or maybe they've just had a surgery. The last thing they want to deal with is fight with an insurance company, fight with Medicare to get the services. You guys cover that.
Exactly. We'll take the time to do that.
There you go, Bill. AshbaPT.com.
That's just perfect.
That's Bob Kanika, Ashba Center for Therapy. Again, let's go through just the different types of issues that they care for. If you hear something that you're dealing with, give them a call. Let's do this. Back disorders and pain, cervical
radiculopathy.
We're going to have a button that we press. It'll be Bob saying that word. I can't even say. He said it 5 times. I still can't say. Degenerative disc disease, gait difficulty. That's your ability to walk or run. So a lot of times people do gait analysis now.
I want to say something about the gait. So we do custom orthotics. So we'll do custom orthotics. Don't pay more than $250 for your custom orthotics.
Wait, hang on. That's what the other places they charge.
No. You know how much I paid for mine?
Yeah, Jeff's rubbing his head right now. I think he's going to start banging it on the wall.
That's a quarter of what I paid for mine.
No way. And these are the custom orthotics.
I told you I went to the wrong place.
Yeah, you did. You really did. How did you know about Bob and Ashbaugh Center for Therapy back then? That's ridiculous.
Clearly. Hip, knee, foot, ankle pain, jaw pain, TMJ, lumbar,
radiculopathy,
muscle weakness and atrophy, pediatric disorders, plantar fasciitis, postural dysfunction, sciatica, shoulder impingement, shoulder, elbow, and wrist pain, spine disorders and pain, tennis elbow, thoracic outlet syndrome, whiplash.
Yeah, now that gait difficulty, you've got to pay attention to that. I know it's like, that's how you're walking, and doesn't matter how you're walking. Yes, it does, because your gait changes based on other things that are going wrong with you physiologically. Your gait will change based on other things that may hurt elsewhere in your spine, your hips, your knees. And the thing is, your body's trying to compensate, but it doesn't mean it's getting better. It's trying to just make sure you don't hurt, and eventually something else will hurt more. That's kind of how it works. You know about that? You ignore that little tiny problem inside of the house, that little drip, drip, drip of the water. Sooner or later, you're doing a major renovation. That's going to be the problem. Don't ignore that drip, drip, drip. And many times that gait difficulty is that drip, drip, drip. That's the first sign of a larger problem.
You wanted to say something briefly about whiplash. We got about 30 seconds.
There's, I think of the hurdle. Some of the hurdles we have is, well, my physician wants me to go see their therapist, and I'd be leery of that because a lot of their therapists in-house is those high-volume physical therapy clinics. If you keep it in-house, then there's more revenue that can be made, and they can they can keep that in there. So you have a choice of where you can go, and you can pick any physical therapist you want.
And the one you should absolutely pick is Bob Kanika, Ashbaugh Center for Therapy.
Yes.
AshbaughPT.com, ASHBAUGHPT.com, 303-756-3388. You've been listening to the Jeff and Bill Show, News Talk 710, KNUS in Denver.
Along with FM 101.1, AM 1460 in the Springs. The Answer. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good Monday.